You're watching Talkin Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. Talkin Ducks is presented by Pacific Clear Vision Institute and Les Schwab Tire Centers. Welcome into another edition of Talkin Ducks, and what a week it was, but the dust has settled, and Oregon has found their new head coach. Dan Lanning, former defensive coordinator for the Georgia Bulldogs, will become Oregon's next head coach. We'll let you know our thoughts on the hire and what it means for the future of Oregon. Also, we will touch on basketball, men's basketball losing a heartbreaker to Stanford. But before we get started with anything else, let's go ahead and get to our opening drive, brought to you by Les Schwab Tire Centers, doing the right thing since 1952. And to join me on that, let's welcome in the fellas here. We have from the Oregonian, Aaron Fentress, our good man, Anthony Newman. Great to have you back in the chair, by the way, Anthony. And Joey Harrington. And Joey, let's get started with you, because it was a very interesting Sunday night as the news broke about Lanning coming out and a lot of people sharing their thoughts on the hire. But we've had a lot of conversations about this already, and you really like this hire for the Ducks.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, let me back up, Jordan. I don't know what you're talking about about any sort of conversations prior to the show, but I love the hire. It's exciting, right? I think that's the piece that I really like. And I don't think anybody truly knew much about Dan Lanning prior to his name being introduced to us at the over the weekend. But the more you learn and the more you read and the more you just listen, you learn about his excitement. You learn about his passion. You learn about he's somebody who's excited to be part of this program, right? That's what I think is most exciting to me, is we've got a young guy who hasn't made a mark, who can come in and create a legacy, right? Come in and put his stamp on this program. And that's something that's after two coaches who Willie left after 1 year, and Mario, like we've talked about, decided to go home. But when you have a young guy like this who truly can come in and make a mark, that's exciting. And especially the fact that he's a defensive coach, right? Anthony, you can, I'm sure you're excited about this. We haven't had a defensive-minded head coach in, I don't know how long, but it's a shift of potential Oregon play on the field, a shift of focus, and I like that. That's something exciting if I'm an Oregon fan.
And Anthony, your thoughts, because Oregon could have gone a lot of different directions. You could have gone with a proven Power 5 coach that had years of experience. You could have maybe gone with somebody that had West Coast ties, but they picked Lanning, who, by all accounts, was very coveted, and Georgia was doing all that they could to keep him there, and it sounded like this was too good of an opportunity for him to pass up.
Well, the university, they did their homework, and that's what you want them to do. Do your homework. You're pressed for time. You only have so much time to try to pick a coach, because you got a lot of things going on that's going to be next with recruiting and then, the bowl game and all those kind of things. So they did a good job. We know nothing about the guy except for what we read, in the papers or in the internet. I like what he's done in the past with other teams. I like that he's a defensive guy. So let's roll with it. Let's go. The defense needs help. They're ranked 60th in the country. In the red zone defense, they're ranked 84th in the country. Georgia's defense is number 1 or number 2, and they've been like that for a long time. And so this is a defensive guy that you win championships with defense now. So this is a good pick.
And obviously, Aaron, is very poetic, the fact that Oregon's first opponent next year in Lanning's first game will be the Georgia Bulldogs. So what do you make about this hire? Because as I said to Anthony, there were a lot of different ways Oregon could have gone. They were clearly pressed for time, but now that the dust has settled on all this chaos over the past week and a half, what do you make of this?
First of all, the week was spectacular from an observation standpoint. The drama, the intrigue was just completely intriguing. I forgot half the time that I really covered the Blazers, because I was like, forget the Blazers. The Ducks are amazing right now. But look, Oregon went out and they tried a lot of different things. And they were looking for, a marquee name coach who has a proven background that you could bring in. They definitely looked that way. But during the week, I kept hearing, and other people kept hearing about, there might be a mystery assistant candidate and a mystery NFL candidate. So everyone was trying to figure out who it might be. I never heard anyone mention it could be Dan Lanning until the Atlanta Journal-Constitution broke the news that it was going to be Dan Lanning. Now, unfortunately for some Oregon fans, there were some former Ducks coaches who were talked to about coming back. We'll get to that later. One declined, one I don't think was ever that interested. But the bottom line is I've always been big on the young upstart guy who doesn't have that much experience or doesn't have any experience as a head coach. Give him a shot, because every great coach at one point had no experience. And you're able to go out and get a guy from a marquee program such as Georgia. So if you're going to go for the hotshot coordinator, there's only maybe 4 or 5 programs in the country on par with Georgia in terms of getting that type of guy. And you're getting the guy from the best side of that team. Their defense is allowing a ridiculous 9.5 points per game. The next closest is Clemson at 15. 9.5 in the SEC, that's just ridiculous. They're averaging they're giving up 250 yards of total offense, only 81 yards rushing, 2.6 per carry. So he's operating a dominant defense. Now, they're not going to bring all those Georgia 5-star kids with them, but Oregon has been recruiting well. This guy's a good recruiter. If he continues recruiting well, there's no reason to believe that the Ducks defense can't be top 10 at some point. So I like the hire. It's going to be interesting to see who the OC is. They still need a quarterback, but this is not a bad move at all.
All right, stick around. When we come back, we'll hear from Athletic Director Rob Mullins, the introductory press conference for Dan Lanning, and what it means for Oregon moving forward now as they have a new head coach. Can the Ducks continue to maintain their success? We'll let you know when we come back on Talkin Ducks.
With 9 locations in the Pacific Northwest, Parr's Cabinet Design Center features everything from outdoor cabinets and countertops to sinks and hardware. Thousands of door styles and colors available to order, as well as kitchen and bath cabinets in stock. All available at the Parr Cabinet Design Center.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we'd gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
Thanks, kiddo.
Give everyone peace of mind on the road. Swing by or book online. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Being able to get LASIK gave me the opportunity to not worry about putting contacts in every day, and just kind of made my life a little easier. Pacific Clear Vision Institute was just incredible through my entire experience. The staff was very welcoming. Dr. Embody, he really just kind of laid it out and made me feel comfortable and gave me confidence to know that I was in good hands. I would definitely recommend Pacific Clear Vision Institute for any sort of laser eye surgery.
Welcome to your Capital Toyota.
From the moment you walk through the doors, we're here for you.
Buy, sell, trade.
We got you covered.
It's everything you need in one place.
Great service? Check.
Easy to work with?
Check.
We want you to be happy, and it shows in everything we do.
Because we respect your time.
It's all the quality and convenience in one package.
New or Toyota certified pre-owned.
Our people are your people.
Capital Toyota. It's your way on the Parkway.
Stories tell us that great leaders are anointed at birth, chosen by the hand of fate. But those are just stories.
You're watching Talkin Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. Let's hit Victory Road, presented by Capital Toyota in Salem, your way on the Parkway. Here's the introductory press conference of the newest head coach, Dan Lanning.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck. You know, I've always admired this program from afar, and the only word that I can really use right now to describe this feeling is grateful. Why Oregon? First most, the Oregon players. There is a team here that I feel really strong about. There's an alignment here that I feel really strong about. The resources, the support from the administration, the fact that this place is a perennial winner. Eugene and his community, its fan base, and a place that I can say I'm going to be proud to raise my family. A place that takes tremendous pride in their program. Those things all matter to me. I want to be really clear. My job here is to build a winner. And this is not going to be a one-hit wonder. Okay? We have to build this the right way. It takes every single one of us. This program is staged to compete and to win championships. We won't shy from expectations, and our goal is to compete for national championships here. But I won't sit here and spend all my time talking about national championships. We're going to be methodical in our approach. We're going to focus on the process. Okay? We're going to compete to a standard every day, the Oregon standard. We will build on the foundation that has already been established here, and we'll create those championship teams. But just as important as creating championship teams, we're going to create championship fathers. We're going to create championship husbands. We're going to create championship men that the University of Oregon and our alumni and fan base can be proud of. In my opinion, right's more important than fast. So we're going to be right. We're going to be right in our approach when it comes to hiring staff. We're going to be right in our approach when it comes to bringing players into our program. And we have to move quick, right? And we have to be efficient, but it doesn't mean we have to make a wrong decision. So we have time. There's unlimited resources here at this place, and there's really good people in this organization that we can lean on. And that's what you have to be willing to do, is you have to delegate, find the right people to lean on, and you have to have some people that are patient and ready to hear from us. So that's where it starts. You know, ultimately, I said the same thing to our players yesterday. I'm not asking for you to trust me. I'm asking for an opportunity to earn your trust. But I'll also say my situation is unique. If William Jewell College comes calling, I love William Jewell College, but I'm staying at Oregon. And I'm going to stay at Oregon as long as I can stay at Oregon, and as long as Oregon will have me. And look, this is there is no other for me. This is a premier job in the nation, not just this league, in the nation. And again, it was going to take a premier job for me to leave the situation I was in. So I'm thrilled to be here because I know what we can do here. There doesn't have to be a next step for me. This job can be the final step.
All right, Aaron, you look at what Oregon had to do. You've got this crazy situation, as you mentioned, which was beautiful for us in the media over the last week and a half. But this is very hard for Rob Mullins to fill this seat that was left pretty quickly by Mario Cristobal when you look at where this program was a couple weeks ago, on the verge of the college football playoff, now obviously going to the Alamo Bowl. How great of a recovery was this for Oregon to find the right coach before you miss that window of opportunity when it comes to recruiting and everything that you have to do to set up next season?
Right. I mean, look, clearly a lot of people were hurt by the way Mario left, or the fact that he just left for another program like that, because a lot of people believed in Mario Cristobal and what he was building. But I think I tweeted that Monday that there will be life after Mario Cristobal. He's a very good coach, but he's not irreplaceable. Now, we don't know what Lanning is going to do. Maybe he won't be nearly as successful as Mario was in his short tenure with the Ducks. Only time will tell. But I think it's clear that a lot of the fan base is pretty excited about this hire. You're getting someone from the SEC. Mario spent some time in the SEC. Of course, he played at Miami. So I think a lot of Ducks fans were very enamored with the idea of having someone with those ties back in the fertile recruiting bed of the southeastern part of the United States. And you get someone who seems to be very enthusiastic, and Mario was very enthusiastic. So, yeah, I think they recovered nicely. I mean, like I said, Mario's a good coach, but Mario's not some god. Like, the idea that he was irreplaceable or this was all devastating was over the top. I think this shows that. I think there should be a lot of excitement about the potential that Lanning has.
And Joey, I think a lot of people will grade this hire in two different stages, because this is ultimately one of the major responsibilities for Rob Mullins, is finding the coach, and then clearly how the coach does once they get here. That's something that only time will tell. But when you look at how fast Rob Mullins and the crew and everybody associated with this hire had to act, and when they had to act, when everybody else was looking at coaches, I imagine it's got to be an incredibly difficult situation that Oregon came out with a overall really solid result.
Oh, absolutely. And you have to credit Rob and the entire staff, I guess the search committee, whoever that is made up of, for doing a great job of doing their homework, right? This wasn't something where they just went out and grabbed the flashiest person they could find. Rob listened. Rob did homework. Rob turned over stones. Like this was an exhaustive search in a short amount of time, in which he and his staff did an incredible job of taking a lot of different things into consideration and ultimately making a decision that I know that myself and honestly, I haven't heard of a fan who is disappointed at all with this. I mean, this is a tremendous hire in what was a I mean, a short window, right? You said it a second ago, Aaron, that, Mario's out. And then all of a sudden you've got this short window to turn things around before recruiting. There's the the disappointment of having Mario, the excitement of who is going to be next. And I think Rob and the staff did a great job of bringing in a coach that is fresh, that's hungry, that can make a mark on a program and is excited to be here. That's the biggest thing for me is Dan Lanning seems like he's excited to be here in Eugene and to be part of this program.
And Anthony, real quickly, obviously who you find as coach is very important, but when you find them is critical, I imagine, for a lot of recruits and for people that were thinking about Oregon. And of course, you're going to lose some people when the head coach leaves. Finding this type of coach in Dan Lanning, someone that was this coveted this quickly, is huge for just maintaining the momentum that Oregon had.
Well, yeah, the university worked very fast, and they found a guy. Now, I don't feel bad for Dan Lanning, but I know that he has a lot of work ahead of him. I mean, think about this for a minute. You have signing day coming up on a couple of days, I believe, the early signing day. You have to try to keep the recruits. You try to gain recruits. You got to try to hire a staff. There's a lot of late night calling right now. And what does that mean? That means there are coaches on the Oregon staff that at late night, they're calling their buddies at other schools talking about, hey, I might be out of here. I need a job. So, Dan Lanning has to come in and try to put this whole thing together and get his staff, his crew, and then also just build the trust with the players that are here to play at Oregon. There's a lot of players that may be leaving. That's going to happen. He has to try to keep some of those players or bring some players in. There's a lot of work to be done. But just from what he's done in the past, he's been under some very good coaches. Kirby Smart's one of the best defensive-minded coaches in college. So, he's got some guys that really taught him the right way. I'm excited to see what he does with this program.
All right, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll talk more about how close Chip Kelly and Justin Wilcox may have been for a reunion at Oregon and what it means for the Ducks when we return on Talkin Ducks.
Do you have a stay-at-home project? We can help. Contact Parr from the comfort of your home. Get a free quote online or call a pro to order your materials. And the best part? We deliver. Call us or visit Parr.com for details. Parr, your project experts for 90 years.
Since 1961, Comfort Flow Heating has provided service to more than 50,000 homes and businesses in the Willamette Valley. While the technology and techniques in our industry have changed, our founding principles have remained the same: to provide exceptional service in all areas of our business and for our customers to enjoy their products from us and be comfortable for years to come.
From all of us at Comfort Flow, thank you for choosing us.
Go Ducks!
Eugene Airport is a proud part of what makes Western Oregon such a unique place to be. With nonstop routes that connect to hundreds of destinations, fly local, fly EUG. In the heart of the South Willamette Valley, just 12 miles southwest of Eugene, distinctive handcrafted wines are waiting for you at Sylvan Ridge Winery. Sylvan Ridge Wines bring unassuming, casual elegance to your homes, tables, and celebrations, and are best paired with the mainstays of a social gathering: good food, fond friends, and lively conversation. Discover our wines by visiting our tasting room. For a list of events or to plan your visit, go to sylvanridge.com. Proud partners of the Oregon Ducks.
Sometimes leadership is scary, but so is regret.
You're watching Talkin Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. Welcome back. It's time to put things into focus, brought to you by Pacific Clear Vision Institute, the official eye doctors and eye surgeons of the Oregon Ducks. Well, Aaron, when you only have about 4 or 5 days to make probably the most important coaching decision in your athletic department, you're going to look at every possible answer. And for Oregon, they did take a look at Chip Kelly, the former Oregon coach that led them to a national championship game. And then Justin Wilcox, the former Oregon tight end that has had some success at Cal as their head coach. What did you hear about how those conversations went? There's some rumors about maybe both Kelly and Wilcox turned the job down. What did we sort out from all of this back and forth?
A lot of it's pretty sketchy in different directions. As far as, let's start with Chip. So it's my understanding that Chip had some interest in considering coming back, but we all know Chip is a forward-thinking guy, right? He always talks about, I'm forward-thinking. And the idea of him coming back to Oregon, unless he were completely in jeopardy at UCLA and had nowhere to go, didn't make sense to me. It's my understanding that he would have gotten the job in a nanosecond over Lanning had Chip Kelly won the job, because the people in power at Oregon know what kind of impact he made on this program. And I don't think there's any doubt he would have had success. My mind was blown that there were some fans who were actually against that. And I think a lot of those fans are 12, so I didn't really take them into too seriously. But I think that's what happened there. As for Wilcox, definite mutual interest to start. And then 3 different people have told me that there was an interview and then something happened and Josh was spooked. Justin, my God. I've been doing that all week because I worked with Josh back in the day. Anyway, Justin was spooked by something. Either what I've heard is that it may have had to do with him being told whom he has to hire in terms of staff and things like that, or maybe he just didn't like the overall vibe of what was going on at Oregon. I haven't nailed it down specifically. I've talked to some really good people, but even they're kind of a little shaky on what it was because they haven't talked directly to Justin in the last couple of days. So it's kind of up in the air. I just wonder if he's going to end up regretting this, because to me, if you were worried about meddling or being told what to do early on, come to Oregon, win, and then you'll have more power and people back off you just like they did with Chip. So that's what I've heard so far on those two. And whatever happened with them, it fell through, and Oregon ended up with Lanning.
What are the expectations? And let's start with you, Anthony. What are the expectations for Lanning coming to Oregon here? I mean, what is this timetable as far as a inexperienced head coach? He's never been a head coach anywhere, but we know what he's been able to do as a coordinator at one of the top schools in the country. But what are the expectations in place, in your opinion?
Well, to win, and to win a national championship, you have to set a goal, right? Everybody has to set some goals, and you set your goals real high. And if you don't, okay, then there's no need to try to get to those goals because you haven't set anything high enough. The highest thing is to win a national championship. That should be for any football team. I don't care if you're in college, pro, high school, pee-wee football, whatever. Win a championship. So that's what you're trying to do, and that's what you want to talk about with your kids and to all your fan base. Hey, we're trying to win a championship. We want to bring everybody in here that can help us win a championship. We'll do everything we can to win a championship. And then other than that, then if we don't get there, it might be a fail. Okay, but still, you have to inspire to that. You have to try to get to that point, and you have to work for that point. And that's what I talk about when these young kids are playing football. They talk about, we're not trying to win a championship. We're just trying to win a game, go day by day. Yeah, but at the end of the day, okay, you win day by day. You're trying to get to that championship game so you can win it. That's
there's a
the
difference
goal.
between wanting to win a national title and not being your goal, and then considering everything else beneath that garbage, which is what's happening in a lot of different ways.
True.
You only went to the Rose Bowl. Oh, you only went to this bowl.
True.
Oh, this doesn't matter. Nothing matters. We've seen it. We've seen it happen numerous times where players or fans were crapping on the idea of winning a Rose Bowl. That's where things have just gotten completely out of hand. Because guess what? The odds are the Ducks are probably going to win 5 more Rose Bowls in the next 15 years and 0 national titles. What's more likely? I say 5 Rose Bowls are. So if you're living your life as a Duck fan or following this program where it's national championship or bust, then be prepared to bust, and then you're just basically wasting your time because nothing else matters. And that's what I'm talking about.
All right, well, let's get to the hot topic brought to you by Comfort Flow Heating, the HVAC industry leader in Western Oregon since 1961. So, Joey, Sunday night, obviously, there's a lot of conversation involving a letter that was leaked and a letter that you were part of. And I want to just give you this opportunity. You were so gracious to chat with so many people and explain the situation, the timing, and a lot of other details that were either falsified or skimmed over when this letter was leaked. And I just want to give you the floor at this moment to really break down what was behind the letter, the intent, and everything involved with it.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, that letter was written at the very beginning of the coaching search. It was written by myself with input from the players that were on the letter, and the entire intent of the letter was to engage in dialogue with Rob, was to say, hey, look, we're disappointed at losing 2 coaches in a span of 4 years. And there's a feeling within us that we're being used a bit as a stepping stone. And by the outside, by people on the outside, people around the country, people who haven't been a part of seeing the program grow, what they see is flash, and what they see is uniforms and facilities. But if you've been part of it, if you've been on a coaching staff, if you've been in that locker room, if you've been in the state of Oregon, you know that the program is about much more. And there's a closeness and a foundation that is built. I use the word, we are not a blue blood program, and people jumped all over that. The definition of blue blood is royal blood. We are not a royal blood program of college football. You know, we literally have been trying to knock off those teams for the better part of the last 2 decades. That's a fact. And so when I wrote the letter with the other former players, it was simply to say, and it was stated at the end of the letter, we want somebody who cares about this program, not just this job. Not just as using this job as a way to get somewhere else. We want somebody who cares about this program, who cares about leaving a mark here, who cares about being part of what we stand for as a university. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's something to be aspired to. I think that having pride in your work and pride in your university and wanting people to represent that on the outside, I think that's a good thing. So my understanding is people thought that this letter was leaked, first of all, by me, which is completely not the truth, and written on a day in which Dan Lanning was being introduced as the new Oregon coach. Again, not the truth.
People have a problem with dates.
What's that?
People have a problem with dates.
I have a problem, or other people have a problem with
No,
dates?
people have a problem with dates.
Right.
I mean, the letter was
This letter was written at the very beginning of a coaching search to begin a dialogue with Rob. And frankly, I have to give him a lot of credit. Like I said earlier in the show, that he would sit down and talk about these things, to consider these options when making a hire. And like I said this at the very beginning of the show, I love this hire. I love the idea of Dan Lanning as the new football coach. I think that his youth, his excitement, I think his ability to recruit, I think his passion for putting a mark on a program, I think those are all the things that we are looking for and that the former players on that letter were looking for. There was nothing to undercut anybody. There was no negativity in that text at all. It was simply saying, hey, we've been hung out to dry twice now in a very short amount of time. Let's take a deep breath and maybe consider. And even in the text of the letter, it said, it may be time to consider looking at somebody in the Oregon family. It may be time. It may not. But having that discussion and having that conversation so that those ideas can be fleshed out so that you can decide what is best for the program long term, that's not a bad thing at all. That's people caring about this program and caring about that goal of trying to win a championship, which we all signed up for.
Can I respond to this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aaron.
First of all, I think the life of this letter is going to be very good. I think all parties involved. The frenzy around it, to me, was just ridiculous. Like, if people would stop crying about it, it would have just gone away. People were inventing why it was written, the motivations. And Joey someone texted me that Joey's just jealous of Marcus. What? Like, it was just, the whole thing just was ridiculous. And then why it was put out, why Canzano put out the letter. Because he's a journalist and he had news. There's no way you don't put that out. So the frenzy around it was just flat out, in many ways, just flat out dumb. Here's the bottom line. Players from the past who helped build this program and make it what it is had concerns. They voiced those concerns in a very well written letter to the athletic director. The athletic director responded in kind and actually offered the job to someone that pretty much everyone in that letter would have liked to have seen get the job. That person then turned it down. The bottom line is that the letter was listened to. I'm not saying Rob offered Wilcox because of the letter. I'm just saying that the people who wrote the letter and put the letter out there were getting the path that they wanted, that Rob was going to look for someone who cared about Oregon. The concern about that is 100% real. Willie Taggart came to Oregon to do a good enough job to go somewhere else. Fact. Mario Cristobal was salivating to take over that job. As soon as he knew, this is all fact, Newman, just so you know, as soon as he knew Willie was even talking to Florida State, Cristobal was on the phone with Willie going, yo, man, are you going to take that? Are you going to take that? Are you going to take that? Because he wanted the Oregon job. Why? Because he knew it would be the perfect path back to Miami. Those are two facts. And now you have a guy in Lanning who cares about the program. He loves the program. Of course, they're going to pay him like $4 or $5 million to coach the program. But does anyone think that he might not have a spot in his mind where he's thinking, I'm going from defensive coordinator to coaching Oregon to something else? I would put the probability at 80 to 90%. So the concern in the letter was real. Rob handled it well. Give Lanning a shot. Stop crying about the entire thing. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
And the last thing I'll say before we go to break, I think it's very important, too, to realize the players on that letter, including myself, that signed off on it prior to even knowing about Lanning being a candidate, wish him the most success in the world. I'll tell you right now, I'll be the first person to hope that he wins a national championship and things go great for him. I will be the first person in line to break bread over OPH and welcome you to Eugene. So I think that's the most important thing, too, is we hope things go so well for Lanning. We want him to succeed. There is no bitterness whatsoever, and I think that's one of the most important things that need to be taken away from this letter.
100%. And Casano in his column wrote that Lanning needs to reach out to these people and say, dude, I welcome all of you into the program. And give credit to Mario. Mario was very welcoming to past players, whereas Chip was not. I remember hearing the stories about Chip, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, Chip was like stiff-arming former players. I've heard way too many stories about that. Mario did the exact opposite. I think Willie was doing the exact opposite.
Joey, you don't owe apology to anybody. Okay, you did a nice job.
Yes,
nice job. Well written. I give it an A+. All the punctuation was correct too.
Yeah,
all right,
spots,
stick around. No. So much more to get back to on Talkin Ducks. When we return, we'll fly around the Pac-12 and talk more about what's going on in the conference, and we'll also look at what Oregon has to do when it comes to this bowl game, and an update on hoops not too far around the corner.
Parr Lumber is committed to providing the best customer service. We provide personal service. We're problem solvers. We're positive and courteous. We're competent and professional. We are committed to delivering exceptional service every time. We're appreciative and we care. We are Parr Lumber.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we had gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
Thanks, kiddo.
Give everyone peace of mind on the road. Swing by or book online. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
You're watching Talkin Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. Let's fly around the Pac-12, courtesy of Eugene Airport. Fly easy, fly EUG. Well, we're going to actually stay grounded in Eugene just a little bit longer on the tarmac because we're going to stick to Oregon's offensive coordinator search. As we know, Dan Lanning, a terrific defensive coordinator at Georgia. But, Aaron, we're hearing reports of Kenny Dillingham, another young coach at Florida State, rumored to be connected to this offensive coordinator position. What do you make about that?
Apparently, he's been offered the job, and he's supposed to, have a window to accept it or turn it down. He's been pretty good over his career. I mean, he lit it up at Memphis. I mean, they put up some big numbers at Memphis. He was at Auburn. They put up over 30 points a game. At Florida State, they've been around 25, 26 points a game, but they've been kind of down in a lot of different areas, especially quarterback. We all know quarterback's very important, Joey, right? So give him a pass on that. The offense he runs is pretty similar to what Moorhead was doing. I mean, they'll come out 3-4 receivers, they'll do a lot of motioning, and then also come in there with 2-3 tight ends and try and bludgeon you. So it'll be a similar look. Clearly, the OC is a big deal. I think Oregon fans would like to get back to more of a high-flying, exciting offense than what we saw. We all know Mario wanted to ground and pound it to a certain extent. But, Duck fans, I think they're used to the high-paced offense. I think Dillingham will bring that as long as he has the quarterback. And to me, I know we're going to talk about that at some point. That's the bigger deal than the OC, what they're going to do at quarterback. I will say this, though. If you have a brand new offensive coordinator, a new head coach, I think they'll be less likely to roll the dice on Thompson and Butterfield because they don't know them very well. And this could increase the likelihood that Oregon seeks a transfer quarterback.
And Joey, this is what is going to be really telling because Lanning becomes the fourth head coach in the last 6 years for Oregon, if you go back to Helfrich. During that span, Justin Herbert was the best quarterback, and that was a Mark Helfrich recruit. Neither Taggart, neither Cristobal was able to recruit and bring up a quarterback that led things for Oregon. So it feels like whoever this OC is going to be, it's up to Lanning and the offensive coordinator to develop a quarterback, not just have to go to the transfer portal every single 2 years to find them. So it feels like this hire is incredibly important for the Ducks.
I wouldn't disagree with that, but I would say that I feel like there are multiple quarterbacks on the roster that have the potential to be great. I mean, that's the thing. There are 3 young quarterbacks on there that were highly recruited, that people have spoken very highly of, that were brought into Oregon for a reason. And so, yeah, I think it is going to be important for the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach to develop that talent because, let's be honest, the talent is there, right? Can we all agree on that the talent is there? It just wasn't ready during this, potentially this season and last season. But the talent appears to be there, and I'm excited. Look, here's what got me the most excited. When Coach Lanning said, we're going to play defense, and then I'm going to bring in somebody to chuck it around, right? We're going to play world-class defense, and now we're going to air it out. Like, I could get on board with that. I like that idea.
All right, Anthony, when we come back, we'll get your thoughts on the impact the Lanning hire has on recruiting. You've got some verbal commits you're trying to retain. Signing day just around the corner. A lot of work for the Ducks to do if they want to continue to get their recruits ready for next season. We'll be right back.
Since 1961, Comfort Flow Heating has provided service to more than 50,000 homes and businesses in the Willamette Valley. While the technology and techniques in our industry have changed, our founding principles have remained the same: to provide exceptional service in all areas of our business and for our customers to enjoy their products from us and be comfortable for years to come.
From all of us at Comfort Flow, thank you for choosing us.
Go Ducks!
Eugene Airport is a proud part of what makes Western Oregon such a unique place to be. With nonstop routes that connect to hundreds of destinations, fly local, fly EUG.
In the heart of the South Willamette Valley, just 12 miles southwest of Eugene, distinctive handcrafted wines are waiting for you at Sylvan Ridge Winery. Sylvan Ridge Wines bring unassuming, casual elegance to your homes, tables, and celebrations, and are best paired with the mainstays of a social gathering: good food, fond friends, and lively conversation. Discover our wines by visiting our tasting room. For a list of events or to plan your visit, go to sylvanridge.com. Proud partners of the Oregon Ducks.
You're watching Talkin Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. Welcome back. It's time now for our recruiting update, brought to you by Milan Stoneworks, bringing you the finest stoneworks in the Northwest. And Anthony, early signing day is tomorrow for Oregon. Obviously, they've got to scramble to do what they can to retain their verbal commitments, but also you got to bring in some new blood. What do you make about the responsibilities for Lanning and his staff that he's building right now?
Well, it's a tough situation, and I think this recruiting thing, this early signing date has to go back a little bit. It's a tough deal when, at this time of year, you got coaches changing places, going different spots, and then you have the early signing day. So now, as a new coach, you're trying to come in dealing with the recruits that you have, guys who are decommitting, they're leaving. Decommits, that happens all the time. So you don't really worry about that thing. And I always said this, I don't know if the kid can play anyway. So who knows? But, he's ranked a 5-star, but we have no idea. I think the biggest thing out of recruiting is the word trust, right? Okay, the players talk about we always have to trust each other when we're on the field. Coaches tell the players, you got to trust your teammate. At the same time, we have to trust the coach. So in recruiting, when that coach goes to your house and sits with your mom and dad, those parents are trusting the coach that you will take care of them. And with Mario, just last year with Ty Thompson, hey, they trusted Mario. He's going to be our guy. Yeah, Coach Mario, you're going to be the guy there for the next 4 years. Boom, Mario's gone. So now the trust issue is, how do you trust coaches in today's world? How do you know that your coach will be there for the next 4 years? I think that's the hard thing with recruiting right now. Okay, you go into the house, you convince the kids that this is the best place for you. It's this school, it's these players, this coaching staff, but the coaches might be gone. And when kids talk about, hey, I'm not going there because of the coaches, I'm going there because of the program, the school. But you know what? I disagree with that. I go there because you build relationships with your teammates and your coaches, and that coach is like a father figure. And when you're away from your parents and you need to go talk to somebody, you go talk to that coach. You don't go talk to the school. You don't talk to buildings. You talk to the coach who can help you. And so that's very, very important. Dan Lanning, he has his work cut out, trying to keep this recruiting group in. I don't know if you're going to keep it where it's at right now. I think they're ranked 22nd. They were ranked 9th. But I think he can maybe bring some new guys in. It's a lot of work, but still recruiting, it needs to be, hey, do we trust our coach? How do you trust a coach in today's world?
Hey, look at you, Anthony, with recruiting rankings. I like it. Aaron, real quickly, what type of recruiter do you think the Ducks are getting with Lanning? Because that was really Cristobal's cup of tea. He was an elite recruiter and got Oregon a couple of back-to-back top 10 classes and led the Pac-12. What do you see or hear about Lanning and his capabilities?
By all accounts, he's supposed to be on the level of Mario, just hasn't done it as long. I mean, he's supposed to be an elite level recruiter, and obviously coming from the SEC should give Oregon a chance to still try and pull players from that area like Mario was doing. So I think clearly he's going to hit the ground running in that area. First thing you want to do is stop the bleeding, or start preventing guys from decommitting from Oregon. That's one. Two, maybe you can reel back in some of the players who decommitted because Mario left. Maybe you go to them if they haven't already committed to someone else, or even if they have, and try and say, hey, we're going to be just as great with the staff I'm putting together as you thought Oregon was going to be with Mario. I think Taggart, when he came in, there were only a couple decommits when Helfrich was fired, and he was able to rally that class pretty well. There was a huge drop-off when Taggart left, and Cristobal took over because Taggart had him in the top 5, and then they fell to 18. This class right now is 22nd on 24/7, as Newman said. They're 35th on Rivals. I think if Lanning can come in and just recover some of the commits and then bring, who knows what he's going to steal from or Georgia. You never know, right? If he hires an assistant from Florida State, that guy might bring a guy, or other guys might bring a guy, and then you can start padding that class again and get back at least into the mid-teens.
Joey, real quick, how much do you care about recruiting?
Joey didn't care about recruiting when he was being recruited.
I think we've all established that I'm a little bit different, right? We can move on now.
All right, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll take a look back at Oregon's only win ever over Oklahoma as they get set to face off against the Sooners in the Alamo Bowl. We'll rewind the clock to 2006 where the Ducks won fair and square.
No.
When we come back on Talkin Ducks.
No.
You're watching Talkin Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. Welcome back. It's time for our Thing of Beauty, presented by Dr. Lee B. Daniel and Aesthetic Plastic Surgery. Live beautiful. And we go back to 2006, the Ducks hosting the Sooners, and it was mayhem down the stretch of this game. Now, I was on the field, and I've got to be real. I saw this whole pile up after the onside kick, and Joey, I saw an Oklahoma player come out of the pile with the football. Yet, we still got it, went down, scored, had to
you were
block the
doing
kick
this.
after Adrian Peterson basically won this game for them single-handedly. And I mean, this was a huge win and one of the bigger home wins, especially non-conference. But it just never really felt right, did it, Joey?
You know, I cannot speak to that. I cannot speak to how you felt or how anybody else felt. What I can say is that I remember being in Miami with the Dolphins and leaving, staying as long as I possibly could until I had to report to the hotel for the day before the game, right? You remember that, Anthony? Like, you check into the hotel with your team. I waited as long as I could. And man, this one looks like it's going to be over. I got to get there. I drove to the hotel. First thing I did was checked in, turned it on, and saw him lining up for the onside kick. Hey, we got it, Jordan. We got the onside kick, right? And I was jumping up and down on my hotel bed. I mean, that was a moment for Duck fans.
And Anthony, I remember shaking Adrian Peterson's hand at the Combine that year after that game, and I think to this day, I still have a bone in my hand that cracks because that was the hardest handshake I've ever received in my life. Because they all knew that we robbed him and got away with one, but one of the all-time great Oregon memories.
Well, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right? And so, and one of the officials, I think he worked at a local high school in Eugene. No, I'm just kidding. But, here's the deal, though. Oregon got the onside kick, okay? But Oklahoma had a chance to stop Oregon. Did they? No. Oklahoma got the ball back, had a chance to kick the winning field goal, and it got blocked. So they had chances. It's not about that one play. There's 60 snaps in a game. So they're complaining about the onside kick, and the Oklahoma player had the ball afterwards. Yeah, he did. I'm not sure what happened, but Oregon got the ball, and they won.
No.
All right. Well, it goes down as a dub as far as the history books. That's all that matters.
Worst
all right,
call
when we come
in
back,
college
we'll wrap
football
up this
history.
edition of Talkin Ducks, and we'll get to basketball. Men's basketball, especially a heartbreaker in Palo Alto. We'll break that down when we come back.
With 9 locations in the Pacific Northwest, Parr's Cabinet Design Center features everything from outdoor cabinets and countertops to sinks and hardware. Thousands of door styles and colors available to order, as well as kitchen and bath cabinets in stock. All available at the Parr Cabinet Design Center.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we had gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
Thanks, kiddo.
Give everyone peace of mind on the road. Swing by or book online. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Welcome to your Capital Toyota.
From the moment you walk through the doors, we're here for you.
Buy, sell, trade.
We got you covered.
It's everything you need in one place.
Great service? Check.
Easy to work with?
Check.
We want you to be happy, and it shows in everything we do.
Because we respect your time.
It's all the quality and convenience in one package.
New or Toyota certified pre-owned.
Our people are your people.
Capital Toyota. It's your way on the Parkway.
Being able to get LASIK gave me the opportunity to not worry about putting contacts in every day, and just kind of made my life a little easier. Pacific Clear Vision Institute was just incredible through my entire experience. The staff was very welcoming. Dr. Embody, he really just kind of laid it out and made me feel comfortable and gave me confidence to know that I was in good hands. I would definitely recommend Pacific Clear Vision Institute for any sort of laser eye surgery.
You're watching Talkin Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. Welcome back. It's time for some excellence off the football field, presented by Ferguson Wellman. Ferguson Wellman taking a disciplined approach to investing. Well, Oregon men's basketball, another conference heartbreaker. Jaden Delaire sinks the three at the buzzer, and the Ducks dropped to 0-2 in Pac-12 play, the second near buzzer beater that has given them a loss. And now, Aaron, you look at this team that has a tune-up game on Wednesday, and then they host the number one team in the nation, the Baylor Bears, at Matthew Knight Arena. And for an Oregon team that didn't look consistent during the non-conference slate, is there still enough season left for Dana Altman to turn things around like we've seen in so many years past and get this team tournament ready to make another run?
Absolutely. Look, they're going to beat UAP. They're going to probably lose to Baylor. So what? You get back in the conference play. The two conference games they lost to ASU and Stanford were by 3 points. It's not like they got blown out. And we've seen this movie before. I think we've talked about this numerous times. And let's go back to just 2018-19 when Peyton Pritchard was struggling. Remember we were talking about what's going on with Peyton Pritchard. He's supposed to be leading this team and be the guy, and he was struggling. And they ended up going to the Sweet 16, right? And they started out that season, I think, 12-8, something like that, which is a little better than what they are now. But still, we've seen Dana Altman work this before. I'm not going to write them off yet until they're like, last in the Pac-12 or something. Because if they go into the Pac-12 tournament 10th, they can still rattle off enough wins to win it. That might be an exaggeration, but I think you get my point.
All right, guys, well, let's have a toast brought to you by Sylvan Ridge Winery, proud partners of the Oregon Ducks. And Anthony, let's start with you. Kayvon Thibodeau declaring he will enter the NFL draft. Many people have him as the number one overall pick. He is not going to play in the Alamo Bowl, so his legacy at Oregon has officially been carved. And what do we make of Kayvon Thibodeau when it's all said and done, and what he means in the great lore of Oregon football and some of the all-time great players?
A true baller. He could play several positions. If I was a defensive back right now playing for Oregon, I would be so sad because the guy up front that can get to the quarterback and make that quarterback make some bad throws, he's off to the NFL. And if I was an NFL player, I'd be, hey, get Thibodeau, Kayvon Thibodeau, get him on our team because we know that he will get to the quarterback, and also off the field. Great young man. I wish him the best.
Yeah, I'm disappointed I didn't get to see him play more often, Jordan. Like that, I think that's the feeling I'm left with because first year he's a freshman, second year is COVID, third year he missed half the season with an injury, yet still was an All-American, right? There's so much in that I wanted to see more. Like I wish selfishly that he'd stick around for another year so that we could just see him on the field, like see a full season of what he could really do. But man, you wish a guy like that well and thank him for being a part of the program and leaving his mark.
Any advice for someone most likely headed to Detroit?
No, I'm done giving advice.
Pull a John Elway.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of Talkin Ducks. Appreciate you all stopping by. So much to get to next week. Basketball continues their march closer to conference play. And of course, this Oregon football coaching staff will continue to round out, and we have that early signing period. So we'll see what happens with the Ducks. But that'll do it from all of us here. Thanks again to our wonderful production team. We'll catch you on the next episode of Talkin Ducks.